Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of In the Know with Kat Bobineau. Today, my guest is MarchLa'rina. And MarchLa'rina is a computer science teacher out in Vallejo, California. Welcome to the show.
Peace, greetings. How are you? Excuse me for my voice. I'm losing it. Second week of school.
It's understandable. I'm sure you've been yelling at quite a few people. I wasn't going to say kids. I'm sure there's adults too that need to be yelled at.
Actually, what I can say is being out here in Vallejo is new for me, just the Bay Area itself. But the Changemaker Academy for the Caliber schools, we got a really good bunch. And this is from me running, jumping, playing with the students at recess. So I just go crazy with them as well. So this is just the second week.
Oh, it's all good. I totally understand. So, you just mentioned that all of this is new. So, where do you hail from originally?
So funny. So born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Um, Ran over to Phoenix, Arizona, following my mom. And when I was 10, of course, I had to go with her. And was born and raised where Detroit, Phoenix, Arizona. And then I kind of traveled around about 8 different countries. Just
Oh, 8 different countries. Now
yeah.
that's what's up. So you want to like name a few? Tell us where you've been.
Yes, I'm gonna tell you where I want to go back to, which is home. Away from home is Kenya. Started off in Europe, but we ended up in Kenya. So I work with a school in Kenya called the uh, Christian Secondary School, all girls. They just added boys. So they have 250 students. So if I had my choice, I would go back in the summer times and teach in Kenya.
Oh wow. Okay, okay. That's what's up. So let us know about computer science and how you got involved in computer science.
Yes. So I'll go way back when I was in junior college, and I had a professor that was really, really interested in. I was good at computers, but this was before coding was a buzzword, before it was something that we all had to do. Maybe just some people was into coding,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess my professor saw something in me that I really had an interest, and I passed up that opportunity
Oh.
18 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. And then years later, I was working with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington, and I started with in the YMCA, and then I started working with the Computer Clubhouse program out of Boston, MIT. And all that time, I didn't know that I was learning coding. And now that I'm a coding teacher here in Vallejo, it makes more sense and it's easier for me to explain to the students in a everyday kind of way, fashion.
Okay, okay. So you took us far back, but you want to take us a little bit further and let us know exactly what it is about computers that, got you into them in the first place?
I love to tinker. Um, I like to take things apart, put them together. But what's most important about the computer and the way that I teach to the students is most of our lives are controlled by machines.
Hmm.
In some way, shape, or form, we are natural programmers. I call my students junior code switchers. So they understand that we're code switching. And then they'll say, "Oh, Miss MarchLa'rina, what is code switching?" And so I'll talk to them and I'll say, "Well, code switching is," and then I'll speak a different language. And then they say, "Well, we don't understand what you said." And I said, "That's right, because the computer speaks a language, which is called coding. And then humans speak a language, which may be called English or Spanish or some other things. So when I communicate with them, I don't want this to be a far fetched idea about what coding is. And, or I'll say, "Well, did your parents tell you to do anything today?" "Yeah, they told me to get up and wash my face, brush my teeth." And I said, "Oh, so your parent would be considered a programmer because your parent's programming you to take an instruction and do something." Oh, so what I'm learning is the more that you break it down in an everyday life situation, it's much easier than just to speak the coding language. So my love for coding is being able to take it apart
Mm-hmm.
from the ambiguous thoughts of what coding is and then just make it everyday life and very simple for everyday people, not just for children, but for seniors and for everyone.
That's really cool. So you've taken your love of computers and tinkering and coding, and now you're giving back and teaching that to students. And so, when did you find your passion that what you wanted to do was also educate?
Ooh, I was 13.
Oh,
And instead of me going into the Boys and Girls Club program for the summer and enjoying, I wanted to run the programs. So I was my first job as a Boys and Girls Club junior staff member.
mm-hmm.
And from there, I've been like creating programs, not just computer programs, but educational programs for youth. And I always was one of those students that, me, always had my hand up, always knew the answer, always wanted to know more. And a lot of students like that are shut down, or
Mm-hmm.
they're looked at in a way, they know too much, or, they're taking the limelight, but that's just how they learn. And
Right.
teaching coding and being in education helps me learn different learning styles and then create curriculums that are applicable to the students.
Okay. Okay. So, when you decided that coding was your lifestyle, teaching was your lifestyle, and you also taught in these other countries, right? I heard you said you taught in Kenya. Did you teach in the other countries you were at?
No, I spent most of my time in Kenya. The other countries I went was like Europe, France, Spain,
Mm-hmm.
Italy, Morocco was nice. I thought I would stay there, but when I got to Kenya, the children, the young girls,
Right.
for me to see all of these young girls lined up with shaved heads, and I asked, why are your heads shaved? Because we're all beautiful, and it's not about how we look on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And so the girls, it started out as a girls' school, and so I kind of helped them. They needed to get their land in order, and so I would just send them things. So now I'm going to send them some science stuff so they can do some science and some coding. But in the summer, I can go see them. So I just think that I just love children. I love teaching. It's been a passion since 13, and I don't think I'll stop.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, we definitely need teachers, especially in STEM, who are stepping up and they're teaching their kids about it and, making sure the next generation is there to take on the realms of going into STEM education or STEM jobs. And so I wanted to ask you now about being in computer science and working with coding. How do you feel about its diversity?
Oh, you want to get real about it.
Just a little bit. Just a little
Well,
bit.
so let me say something to you. I've been in the Bay Area for 3 years. Okay. Um, I have taken two positions in Silicon Valley. One for the city of Palo Alto,
Mm,
and then the other was for the Computer History Museum.
okay.
And what I would say is there's a certain culture that they have in Silicon Valley. And when I worked for the Computer History Museum, I learned fast that I was not the right cultural fit. And these are the words that was said to me when I was let go
What?
from the Computer History
Are you
Museum.
serious? You are not
Oh,
a
I am
cultural
like,
fit?
so I have anxiety from this word fit.
Yes.
Even when I work with my students, I am very, very, very mindful not to speak to them in that way. And so I explained that to them at the Computer History Museum because it's not a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to connect with the Black Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
They did their very first hackathon, and they were really excited that I was at the Computer History Museum, but didn't think I would last because they knew what I didn't know is
Wow.
wasn't the right fit.
So, were you at the Black Chamber of Commerce hackathon? When was that? A couple months ago.
Yes,
I
I was.
was there.
Were
I was
you?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there. I went. I was the design code build program coordinator for the Computer History Museum. So I went to see what was going on. I met some really cool people. Chris Norwood was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about the youth, and then I met the group that won, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
That's so
diversity.
amazing. Small world, and we didn't know each other. we
No, but I'm
didn't
glad we
even
know each
meet.
other now.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you're asking me about diversity because being the fact that I teach coding for TK, kindergarten, first and second,
Mm-hmm.
it's important that they understand that they automatically fit
Right.
and they automatically know that they are programmers already. So when they are older and they're going to jobs, they're not taken aback when they're not the right fit for the culture. And being the fact that Silicon Valley is just right there, and we're
Mm-hmm.
here in Vallejo, Caliber Schools, the Changemaker Academy is the only school in Vallejo that actually teach coding, and that's a problem because we're right here.
Right. I mean, we're a stone throws away.
You would think
Mm-hmm.
that all the tech companies would love to come into these communities that don't have the access that they need and make it available.
Right. Which is a shout out. I feel it. It's a shout out to Silicon Valley. What
Hey,
she's saying is,
I
we
see
need
you.
you to come into these communities and help teach our kids about coding. And then you can hire from the Bay Area because we're right here. We
From
are.
the Bay Area, but most importantly, from the communities in
Mm-hmm.
which you are putting these programs in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the students see the teachers or the community workers that are already in their community and they're teaching them and they know a different language, which is coding, they're going to love it. But you can't expect to come from Silicon Valley and tell us what to do
Mm-hmm.
and tell us we need it and expect for us to receive it.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I get what you're saying, and I'm actually a little stuck on what you said about being a cultural fit. Like, I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense, and that's the problem that I'm fighting now, which is why I do this show, because I don't know how many times adults and children have said I don't look like a biologist. Well, what does a biologist look like? What does a computer scientist looks like? What does a coder look like? There is no definition
Right.
of any of those things.
And this is exactly why when I teach, or even when the parents, when they, well, what is coding? And I give them the same example. I said, hey, you have a device, right? You have to put a code in there. It's password. Okay. You just program this device to accept an instruction.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. So the world has you thinking that it's something that's huge that we can't comprehend. We've been code switching from the beginning. This is what we do.
And that's a really good analogy and a really good explanation. I mean, I feel the same way when I talk about science and I talk about working with animals and being outside, and it's just like, oh, I can't do it, or I don't understand biology, and I'm like, or I don't understand chemistry. And I say, okay, well, do you like eggs? Yeah. Okay, well, what you just did when you cracked the egg in a skillet, you used fire, which is a catalyst, and you changed it from one entity to another. Bam, you did chemistry. It's right there, is everything we do every day.
And you see how simple you explain that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we were all in that fashion and had that confidence to explain things in that way, we as adults, as well as our children, we would walk around knowing that we are who we are. And that it's like second nature. So when I talk to them and I teach them the way we talk, and I talk to them the same way to let them know that this is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So they just need more of us to reflect the students that we're teaching.
Right. We need more people, more diverse people,
Hmm.
coming out and sharing their expertise and saying what we're doing. This is why we do it, which is why I'm thanking you personally for being on the show to share your
Thank
experience and
you.
talk
I
about it.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And so, let's change the subject a little bit and let's talk about what you do outside of STEM. So, like, what are your hobbies? What are things that you enjoy doing?
So I knew you were going to ask me this question. And so I told you I've been here 3 years. 2.5 of the years I was just on a complete fast. I didn't go out, I didn't hang out. I did volunteer a lot with the homeless community, but I like to exercise. So I leave work and work out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I'm always in my head about creative ways of what we could do to enhance and evolve our children on different levels. And ultimately, I would love to prefab and flip shipping containers.
Okay.
into homes
Oh,
for people
okay.
who need it.
Mhm.
And my goal is to have the shipping containers in those communities that do not have access, because they could be hub techs that inside of them could be all of the technology that they need for maker spaces,
Mhm.
and they're containers, so it's not like you could break in them and get into them. So I
Mhm.
can put them in the roughest communities, if it's such a thing, and put them in those communities and make sure that they have access. So ultimately, that's what I would love to do. So I'm like on the ladder to that.
Okay. I totally understand that. But you are in the Bay Area. You are in California. So my suggestions, get out and hike at least. Still exercise. You can go
I do like Lake
hiking.
Merritt. I do walk Lake Merritt.
That is not hiking.
Oh, look, young
That is
lady.
walking the lake.
So are
I'm
you
gonna need
inviting me
you.
on a hike?
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to go to the redwoods. I mean, they right here in Oakland and Hayward and San Francisco. Go actually into the woods and
I
see a
do take
bit of.
pictures. I
Hmm.
just haven't done all of that here. So thank you for the encouragement.
Yes, it is. You can. All right, and I'm gonna share this video in my hiking groups because I'm about to shout you out right now. But there is We Are Family hiking, and there's Heat hiking every available trail,
Okay.
and Outdoor Afro. So those are three that you should look up out
Okay.
here in the Bay Area, and you will have a fantastic time with them.
Awesome.
All of
I'm
them
definitely gonna
are
check that.
started by African Americans.
Oh, I did see the Afro
Outdoor Afro.
Outdoor Afro. They're located in the hub.
Yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I walked past. They weren't in there. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So those are three that you can enjoy, and then on top of that, we got food, we got dancing. You can go to First Fridays, which is tomorrow.
You know what? I will do that.
Yeah, Oakland Museum has Friday nights as well, half off. And I don't know why. I mean, we completely got off STEM, but I'm just saying these are all
That's because
things.
I told you I was here for three
Yeah.
years and 2.5. I've been on a fast.
Yeah.
So I understand you trying to bring me out of my shell. I
Yes, please.
understand.
Yes. Come on out the shell and meet more like-minded people like yourself, and be a part of the community.
Indeed. And I would also like to throw a shout out, not just for Caliber Schools because I work here, but we're always looking for the most diverse um, teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to have a lot of male teachers. We have Mr. B here, who is our math teacher, which is great. So Caliber is really good about making sure that the school teachers reflect the community. So yeah, that'll be great. Looking forward to seeing more people here.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, and let's go back to STEM. Talking about
Yes.
STEM, and is there anyone in your life that's been like a really big influence for you when it came to going into computer science, or someone who mentored you along the way, or is still mentoring you in computer science?
So I'm not going to say no one inspired me,
Oh.
but I will say my sons. And I will say because my youngest son always had to have something in his hand.
Mhm.
He was younger. And with our young brothers of African descent in our school system, sometimes they're not understood. They may act out or whatever it may be, and they may need something. He was one of those students that always had an answer, but he always had to do something. So he was always tinkering. So for me, as a single mom, I had to create programs and find programs for my sons to be in, but also that kind of connected with their learning style. So he loved engineering, or one was really good at math. So that was something that I had to do to keep them. So they were my inspiration.
Oh.
So I took them with me everywhere, and I would test, programs and ideas on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. You have to have someone there that's going to keep you going, and sounds like your sons were the ones who kept you going in computer science, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Now I'm an empty nester.
Oh.
Yeah, they're 18 and 23.
Oh.
And yeah.
See that, I feel like you are a perfect example of black don't crack, because I never would have guessed that you have an 18 and a 23-year-old son.
Really?
Yeah, I never.
Oh, and my 23-year-old gave me a granddaughter that's 4. And
You're a grandmother?
girl.
What?
Hmm.
Oh. All right. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna say okay. That's cool. Never would have guessed it. Never would have guessed it. But all right.
I am grateful. You know what it is? I've been working with youth for 20 years. So they have to keep me young. Like I still do air hockey. I do air karate. You should see me on the recess
Right.
all day. That's all I do with them. So yeah, but thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. And is there anything that you want to tell the younger generation? I know you work with them, but those who might be watching, um, what it is about computer science you like, and any advice you would give them if they were interested in it.
Well, I will give them two things. So I go by the three C's, and then I also go by the three R's. So the three C's would be cultivate a connection to your community, customize lifelong relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and create a sustainable personal and professional brand. As our young people, even my sons, they love name brands. And I tell them all the time, we need to stop being consumers and we need to be creators.
Mm-hmm.
So find a design, I don't care what it is, scribble, scrabble, something, put it on a t-shirt, market yourself. We are about social entrepreneurship. And for us, the ones that are not the right cultural fit for Silicon Valley or whatever, I say this: re engineer your thoughts, restructure who you are, and then rediscover you moving forward. Yes, it hurt my feelings to be told at 40 that you're not the right cultural fit to work at a museum
Wow.
where there's 2,000 years of computing history and we're not a part of it. So it was a great experience to be there because I learned a lot so then I can give to the children and back to the community.
Right.
So that's what I would tell everybody. Just inside focus. Focus on you first. Be the best you first. And really tap into your own natural talents because we all have them. My natural talent, I think, was working with youth. It's what I do. Like, I know this like the front and back of my hand. That's my task. We all have a task, but tap into your own personal task, what you have that's yours, because can't nobody do it like you. And that's what I would say to my younger people. And just that was for me too.
Yeah, and that was for me too. I ingested it. It was right in here. Um, Before we got on camera, and we're about to end, but before we got on camera, I don't know if I'm gonna call you out on it or whatever, but we were like dropping a little beat or whatever. So I didn't know if you had like a musical background that you wanted to share with
Oh no, no, no.
people.
I do poetry,
Oh,
but no.
you
Yeah.
you don't want to drop a poem? That could be your outro for our show today.
Oh, I can't wait to meet you in person. Um, yeah, it has nothing to do with coding.
That's fine.
Definitely.
That's fine.
So yeah, if I remember it all. All right. Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, this will be my first time dropping anything in Oakland. Okay. When I look into your eyes, by no surprise, I realize that you are the one for me. Not the pretty and polite side of me, but all of me. The morning breath and the week before I renew myself, me. Because when I look into your eyes, by no surprise, I realize that you are the one for me, or are you? Brother, allow me to bless thee with a prescription for your sudden addiction to Queen. You must have heard my signature piece and deemed yourself the mnemonic narrator and the reason that I can't breathe, but not in tune with what I really need is for you to step inside of me so you can see what I see, the future of a noble king and queen. Because when I look into your eyes, by no surprise, I realize that you are the one for me, or are you? See, brother, I need you into me like a baby to my womb. I need you to fall deep so fast, but allow Queen to catch you. I need your first thought to be God, but your next to be me. I need to explore the divine essence of thee, but not just physically, mentally true. I need you to step inside my kingdom and have mind sex with. I need to have mind sex with you. And as we struggle with our higher and lower selves suspended in time with Kama Sutra binds, I've transitioned from a wisdom to queen, 360-degree stings of divine truth. Peace. I'm striving to build with you on the future of our youth. So I strategically need you to reflect the 7th, 15th, and 4th letter of the supreme alphabets. G-O-D. Brother, can you hear me? Peace.
Damn. Yes, that
so
was
I'm shy.
awesome.
I needed you to know that. So I'm at school talking to a computer.
Yeah.
Do that. It's a lot different than being in front of a lot of people.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm snapping on it. That was awesome.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, and I want to say thank you so much for being on the show today. I really, really appreciate it. Like you said, I can't wait to meet you in person. We here in the Bay Area, so come out with us anytime.
Indeed.
And
looking forward for the next hike. So I'm on it. Whenever it is, I'm on it.
You say that. It's Saturday.
That's work.
It's Saturday.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay. I'm going to send it to you.
Let me know where.
Yep, I'm going to send it to you. All right. Thank you so much. And to my audience, I want to say thank you for being a part of the show again today. And remember, if you ever want to be a part of this or you have some questions for MarchLa'rina, send them to me. I'll send them to her, and we will keep in touch. Thank you. Until next time.